Testing. All right, we're live, and today we're going to be discussing the epic changes happening for DC office in the DC area, including the homeless. It appears this administration has a decision at this point to remove the homeless from Washington DC. He made and gave that order just a couple of days ago. And my understanding at this point is the FBI has been deployed throughout the city. They're removing anybody that appears to be homeless. They've also deployed the DEA, the U.S. Marshal's Office, and they've also made a declaration for the National Guard to federalize the D.C. Police Department. And according to Mr. Trump, you have an option to move out of that city very far away, or you will be arrested and thrown in jail. That is the consensus now. So D.C. will be the first city that will fall in terms of the executive order that we discussed, about a week ago. And that was that if the president orders the homeless out of a city, he'll take it over and then remove you. At this point, there's no options left for the DC area homeless. If you don't leave, if you don't exit that city and go far away, they will call the paddy wagon, as we had mentioned in a prior video, and you will be arrested and charged. I'm also going to give warnings to those of you that are homeless that also exist in other states and cities. As this plays out, he's not joking about that executive order. And now, in the interest of what I do, I'm going to do a few introductions real quick so we have some clarity. My name is Jay. I'm the owner of Section8Consulting.com. I work with the homeless and I work with people that need housing. This administration has currently decided that they don't want homeless in the city, and they will stop at nothing to remove all homeless. So if you're in the Washington, D.C. area, you need to leave before this becomes a big problem for you, okay? Our office can't help you get out of jail. Clearly, we want to help the homeless, but we can't do it if you're in jail, all right? So I'm going to give some few more warnings to you, those of you that are in areas where Mr. Trump either lives or owns businesses. I would give a warning to those that are near in or near Florida. You might want to exit, especially if you're near his golf course. Okay. Those of you near Trump Tower, New York, you might want to exit. Okay. This is the first domino to fall nationwide under this administration. And I believe if I understand the playbook here, the next big development may be Los Angeles. It seemed like a logical target, considering what he's considering. So this is pretty sensational. To involve every federal agency out there to federalize the police department of Washington, D.C. office, and to criminalize homelessness, and to arrest and put people in jail. That was the executive order. We discussed it a week ago. Now it's playing out in the national news. There's no place that will be exempt of this. None. If it gets in the way of whatever plans that are given by this administration or wherever they travel, you are subject to the king and the queen. I don't know what to say. I've never seen anything like this. I know the DC police have already protested this, but what can you do when the National Guard takes it over? Those of you living in Florida, you're in very serious risk. So are you probably in LA. It won't stop here. And mind you, there are several more years to this administration. Okay. I would ask all homeless in that area to find a safe place to go. One thing I would like to address is the elephant in the room. Look, I've worked with homeless, besides the biggest homeless organizations on the planet, which would be Catholic Charities and a few others. I would probably rank number 3 or 4 in terms of dealing with the most homeless people in the country, okay? Serving over 22,000 at this point. Homeless people are not the problem with murder and crime. Most homeless, when they do commit crime, it's petty stuff, stealing stuff at the grocery store to eat, stuff like that. It's not rape and murder and all that. The sad part is, as this plays out, what we're going to see is the real offenders are already, the people that really commit these crimes are already housed. They're not homeless people. You know, I don't think this is going to change much. Where you're attacking blight or the inconvenience, and to arrest human beings on the basis that they need a place to sleep is tough. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, that's tough things to swallow. These are not dogs and cats that need to go to the pound. And to further have people with no money, very little opportunity, and then throw them in a jail, I don't know where this country is going anymore with any of this stuff. My concern is so bad at this point that I worry for the health and safety of anybody that even appears to be homeless. Let's be clear. You walk out your home today and you go down to the grocery store and you didn't brush your hair, they have the right to arrest you because you look homeless. You start talking to yourself while you're walking in the park, they have the right to throw you in, to put you in a mental institution. Anybody proceed. It's at the judgment of law enforcement. It's not even trained to determine. So what determines homelessness? You pop a tent in the wrong place with your children, you could get arrested. Okay, this is sweeping. There's very little rules behind this so far. I'm at a loss. Now, I had planned videos last week, guys. I had problems with blood pressure. I had to go to the hospital and doctor several times. Turns out my medication was causing problems, so I stopped making videos last week. I'm back. I don't feel that great, but good enough to make this video. So just to let you know, I'm trying to be consistent with videos, but we all have problems, right? If anybody knows where his golf course is in Florida, please do comment here in the channel. This live video. Let me know. You should probably exit that city. If you're anywhere near Trump Towers, please do exit that area. Okay, I don't want you guys arrested. When you dig a hole straight to hell and you're there, you don't want to take out the teaspoon out the back of your pocket and dig a little further. And this does that. Jails are not designed for homeless people. Okay, it can't be a crime to simply want a place to live. Now, I understand some crime gets committed, and there are people with serious mental illness, but we're not segregating that 1%. We're suggesting all homeless at this point anywhere is to be criminalized in the U.S. My advice to anybody traveling to the United States, it's not a good idea. Okay? It's not a good idea to be here right now. These are dark times. These are very dark times. I know a lot of people agree and disagree. I got a video put out last week. Somebody accused me of being right wing. And the week before that, left wing. Look, guys, I support whatever supports getting this alone, but I don't support, completely taking over a city with a military and arresting the most vulnerable people on the planet simply because they're not housed. Because if we can do that, that means anything above that line can also be done. Now, the FBI and the DEA are trained to do a specific job. They know as much as the next man about who's homeless and who ain't. You go out jogging, sitting on a park bench, there's little to stop you from being arrested, whether they believe you or not. If the cop thinks you're homeless, then that's it. DC has thousands of people now, and through federal agencies out there combing everything. Everybody is subject at this point. Even police officers, anybody. You're not in uniform, and even in uniform, they've even proven you can be arrested, and if they think you're a Mexican, it doesn't matter. You work for a federal agency. You're wearing your badge and your gun, you could be arrested by the DEA if they believe that you're here illegally despite your badge. I'm telling you, we live in perilous times. This whole damn thing is out of control. I'm left almost speechless here. If you are in the Washington, D.C. area and you are at a critical moment, and you need some assistance, reach out to my office. See what we can do. My concern is this is going to spread like wildfire. And I'm concerned that there may be a takeover of Los Angeles. I'm very concerned that the National Guard will take target next, will be ordered to L.A., and there will be 70,000 arrests or more. So we see as things go. We haven't even got to 2026. We already were dealing with changing the entire Section 8 system. Now we're no funding for the homeless, and off to the jails. Call the paddy wagon. I'm just astonished. These are humans. And at some points, most of these humans had a job and a family. Hell, even I was homeless for a period. You know, life goes up and down. It's not easy living on this planet. Of course, when you live in a magic fucking tower and you got millions of dollars, let me tell you something most of you guys don't know, okay? How do you think the Trump family made all their money, for those who don't know? They owned project-based housing through New York. That was the vast majority of Donald Trump's father's portfolio. Everything that man in office owes to this country, his fortune, came through his father and project-based housing. They were the largest Section 8 owners in the city of New York. And I'm watching this and thinking, we've made a fortune on the back of the people, and now we turn on them. Okay? I don't disagree with every little thing Donald Trump does, just like I don't disagree with everything that Biden or even Bush does. But this is over the top. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's ramping up at this point. It's getting so serious now that I'm concerned bigger events are going to play out. Because what happens is when you push things too far, citizens are going to start standing up, and there may be a potential for riots. Okay? It could be a high potential that entire cities erupt into serious riots at this point. We cannot arrest 2 million homeless people. And it's not just homeless, the people they're connected to as well, and the people that serve them. I don't want to watch whole cities go up in flames, but I mean, at the pace we're going, there's going to be, it appears to be a possibility for a revolt, a big one. Could be loss of life, all kinds of things. I'm not advocating for that at all. I'm just saying that you cannot push a country and its people too far. Turns out badly. All right, I'm going to get on the comments here, guys. Of course, without my eyeglasses, which I didn't go to see an optometrist, I'm going to look at these comments here. All right, Sheila Davidson says, hello, good morning to you. Tuscan Rober, I think he spoke overall of drug abuse usage. Let's make one distinction. There is no distinction, whether they believe there's drug use or whatever. You get arrested if you're homeless, okay? You could be serving Jesus, don't matter. You don't need to be high, don't need to be crazy if you're homeless. I just showed y'all a thumbnail in the beginning of this video. That's the police and the feds are going through right now, tearing out every encampment in D.C. Let me tell you something. The National Guard has not been ordered out there to take over the D.C. police so that they're going to ask anybody what their desires are. They're not going to run drug tests. You look homeless, you go to jail. Okay? He's not joking. I warned you people about this. I warned you about this. It has serious, serious implications of a dictatorship. Okay? Moving on from there. My son's mother, free room and board. It's not amusing to be sent to a jail. Okay? Martial law is coming to LA and Chicago. LA is a real high potential at this point. And imagine that somewhere before Christmas, that city may be taken over. And don't start laughing because you're Republican in Florida. Don't think it won't happen to you there. Should never be says hello. Sheila Gibson, take care. Laura, he said he had a place for the non-criminal homeless to stay and criminals to be arrested. They're making no distinction right now. If you want to visit D.C. area, there's not two separate lines of things right now. There's just arrests. Everybody. People are not even jogging right now. Everybody's scared. That includes kids. That includes people in wheelchairs, and that includes the seniors. You're in a tent in your wheelchair, you go. You're 99 years old. You're in that tent. You're a criminal. You go to jail. Okay? You're a disabled child, missing an arm, a leg, and an eyeball. You go to jail. That's the rule. Everybody out. They're not going to run an application to see what you are. It's gun, badge, gone. All right. And the paddy wagon, which is not so funny today. Lots of incorrect information, says Ms. Well, that's what happens when you're an idiot and you don't know what you're talking about. So we'll get rid of you. This is being done on purpose, of course. Hello, love. Where is this? Sheila Davidson, you said it. Sunshine, I agree. Hello. There's a lot of comments here. Tracy Tyson, prison. I don't think most judges are going to actually want to convict anybody of being homeless because I don't think there's any laws in the book for that. Well, the National Guard has been ordered out there, yes. You can verify this. It's all over the internet at this point. I'm probably a day or two late. We've involved everybody. The National Guard, FBI, everybody's out there but the CIA. BCAT. So what's the plan? I don't know. I'm not the president of the United States. I don't know what his plan is at this point. As this plays out, we're going to learn. We're going to learn what's going to happen. So this is, again, very alarming. This is the first city to fall. It is now under martial law. If you're believed to be homeless, you will be arrested. Okay? Flat out. They're not going to ask you, did you smoke any crack today? Are you drinking? None of that stuff. If you're there and you're not housed, you will be subject to arrest. He made a very clear order. If you are homeless, okay, not homeless and a drug addict, not homeless and mentally ill. If you're homeless, you move far, far away or you go to jail. They're putting people in jail today. So that's where we stand with this. And that's what we face as a country. And I'm concerned at this point that this is going to spread. Likely to New York and LA next will probably be the next places. It depends on how this week goes. I'm also concerned there's going to be civil revolt, potential riots, and other things. Okay, with riots comes looting and all kinds of stuff. I would hope that nobody does that because we don't need to quantify this. Until says. He said, leave the Capitol, go far away. No tents on my sidewalk, no shame to hide. You know, one day all of us are going to take our last breath and we're going to have to answer for the shit we do. And we're going to live with a lot of regret. I've tried to serve people through my career and what I do, and I'm not going to take my last breath and deeply regret it. I may regret me as a human and many decisions early on in life, but I won't regret trying to help people. And I think that we should all try. You know. That being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because, again, I don't really feel that well. I think that we need to be aware of what's going on in our country. We need to have a voice in this. I'd ask anybody that's a Republican or a Democrat to reach out to anybody you can to stop the criminalization of homelessness. You know, if we need to move people, fine. Okay. If we need to move people, I'm absolutely fine with that. But let's do this with some dignity. Not just federalize the police, take over the city, and make no distinction in who we're going to arrest. Well, guys, I'm sad to ever have to report a video like this, and sadly there'll be many more because this doesn't appear to be the ending of anything. It appears to be the beginning of a much larger plan nationwide. And so my concerns have grown exponentially. You know, to be honest with you, I'm just ready, so much ready for another couple of years to pass by so we can get on to something different. You know, we cannot continue to have the wealthy run the country. You see where this is all going? It escalates every decade. We can't do it. We're electing people that are in their 80s and 90s that do not have the heartbeat of the country in mind. Look at Biden. Look at Trump. These people are old. They're not the future of our country. The hell, they're near death. We need younger people out here to make informed decisions based on a factual basis. You know, to consider all parties. And we keep electing people in here, a million and billionaires. It's a bad idea. These people don't understand what it's like to have any trouble in their life. Doesn't mean they're bad people, okay? It just means that we can't have the wealthy run the country, because you see how shit's going, right? It won't be long before what used to be a problem for the homeless will become a problem for the middle class. What happens when the middle class is no longer good enough? Then what? We're going to put us in concentration camps too? Only the wealthy deserve to live in the big city? This is insanity. All of it. All the time, resources, and money focused on people. Why don't we, if we're gonna call it a National Guard, why not take over second and third ward and every other place where crime's high, go door to door and do it that way? If we're going to sit there and violate everybody's civil rights, and not just second and third ward, I mean every white trailer park, every Hispanic neighborhood, every black neighborhood that has a high crime area. Go after everybody. Let's do it. If it's going to be EOE, baby, don't just do it for the homeless. Fuck it, let's get everybody. But we're not even addressing where the real crime comes from. And then fueled by all the shit coming through Mexico. These are defenseless people. You know? This is just tiring to see this kind of thing play out in our nation. It's sad. Well, guys, I'm going to be back. By the way, we have a new set of landlords that we're contracting with. And we will be putting out a video tomorrow for those of you in the Jackson, Mississippi area. This is a really good landlord. As you know, I screen and I make sure they're not slumlords. We're going to be listing 2 properties, one tomorrow and one in about a week. Give you first opportunity. This guy generally cares. He's a good investor. He's from New York. And I know he has right frame of mind as a landlord. So for those of you in the Mississippi or Jackson, Mississippi area that are interested in finding a place to live, take a look at our video tomorrow, and we're going to be making a few more. Also in September, we will be working with one of the largest case management services in the Northwest, Mystic Services, I believe. We'll be consulting with their counselors to assist those that are homeless and low income. I'll be training their people and reviewing cases for them. So there'll be a lot to discuss in September. We worked with them before, but this time I'm going to help that organization do even better. And so if you're in the Northwest and you're extreme low income or you're homeless, I'm going to introduce you to them. I'm going to be training their organization. Well, I shouldn't say training. I'm going to make them better at it. They're intent on learning what I know in order to be able to operably run more efficiently. And if anybody knows anything, I've been doing this a very long time. I'm well known. So I'm tooting my own horn. One of the best in the country when it comes to consulting work. So the last message to leave is, if you're having difficulty navigating the system, whether homeless, seniors, veterans, disabled, reach out to our office. Though our services are not free, they're some of the most beneficial in the country. I think at present we're probably pushing about 24,000. We've helped get housed. It's not easy. It's not simple. Nobody said that, but it's effective. And we handle a whole lot of issues with everything from complaints from PHAs all the way to landlord problems, portability, you name it, across the federal board. And of course, as we all know, this big wagon of things that we're trying to offer and have been offering for a very long time, we're probably going to be moving in that new system where we take in federal funds, and all vouchers will likely be issued by the state starting next year. So we're moving into a new system potentially. So there's a whole lot of big changes coming, guys. We've been discussing this since January. It shouldn't be a surprise. The only thing really surprising left is what's next. So with that being said, I will publish that new video tomorrow for those in the Jackson, Mississippi area, and I have a couple of properties for you guys to rent. And we hope to add more landlords. We do work with landlords. We get them prepared, and we get their portfolios put up. So I think at present we got several landlords with several thousand properties. So we're helping them connect with the occupancy that they need and getting tenants in there. All right, I see a lot of comments. I wish I could answer them all. I wish I was having a better day, but I didn't expect so much to be announced through the news and such serious matters to happen, but we're just going to have to address them as they come. I will see you guys again Thursday. And of course, we're going to have a Wednesday video for that rental property for Jackson, Mississippi. That'll be one of 2 properties for those that are interested. I've enjoyed talking with you today and hope to see you again tomorrow and Thursday. Thank you. Goodbye.